Good morning, sunshine. Good morning, Curdy. Welcome to August 2nd. Good morning, sunshine. I'm Taryn, and if you're new here, this is a brief morning show to get you started off on the right foot, delivering positive news so that you remember that it's not all doom and gloom out there. So thanks for being here, and we're just going to jump right into the stories. Our first story today comes from Yahoo, actually. California has become the second state to make prison calls free following Connecticut. This went into effect January 1st of this year, and positive benefits are already being seen in the mental health of the prisoners, as well as healing between the families of the incarcerated individuals. Families said that, particularly low-income families, said that sometimes they would have to choose between communication with their family member in prison or putting food on the table because of the expensive phone calls. So this move is going to help with rehabilitation efforts by providing those, connections that are really, really important in allowing the incarcerated individuals to adapt to, back when they're outside of prison, back home. This isn't the only reform to California state prisons, actually. The San Quentin, which is the oldest prison in California, is going to be transformed into a Scandinavian model, which basically just means focusing on education and job skill training, again, to help with the rehabilitation process. All juvenile prisons have been closed as of June of this year. And the Corrections Department is also now offering free transportation for the families to go see their incarcerated relatives. This is amazing. I think that we're going to see incredible results from this simply by, treating people in prison like human beings and understanding that they also need, love and comfort and family. So fantastic. The second story today comes from The Guardian. This one's kind of neat. 3 years ago, Edward Hayne Memorial Hospital, which was more than a century old, was closed by NHS. The community of St. Ives raised £1 million, which is equivalent to about $1.27 million, to keep it from being turned into vacation properties. Now it's going to be a wellness hub, providing accessible and free whenever possible services to residents of St. Ives and West Cornwall. Treatment and preventative services will be offered, things like yoga, meditation, as well as treatment for specifically things like Parkinson's, chronic issues, lots of stuff are going to be offered there. And it's going to open with a celebration September 9th of this year. The community is coming together and accomplishing things like this is really inspiring to me. So that's so cool that they pulled together and saved this hospital. Our last news story this morning comes from Euronews.next. We have been looking into autism spectrum disorder, for decades. And we have been studying, I'm a scientist, they have been studying causes, associations, and things like that. And they've kind of honed in on the gut for research with autism spectrum disorder. But no definitive evidence has come out yet until now. Still not super definitive, but we're in the right direction. We may finally have some insight into the relationship between the gut microbiome and autism spectrum disorder. Published in Nature Neuroscience, researchers describe a definitive association, is what they're calling it. And for scientists, that's a pretty strong word usage. A definitive association between temporal changes in the gut microbiome composition and observable traits and symptoms of people with autism spectrum disorder. A diverse team of 43 experts across the globe took apart, analyzed, and then sort of like stitched back together tons of research over the last 2 decades to be able to paint further research in the right direction. This discovery is going to provide information for future research, really honing in on the gut microbiome, but not just for autism spectrum disorder, but also for the rest of us. This research shows that the microbiome could be really influential in who we are. Maybe even just as much so as our genes. So this is really interesting research coming out, and I'm excited to follow up. Our quote of the day comes from author Harvey Mackay. He says, "Don't water your weeds." And I chose this quote. A friend and I, D. Grant Smith, and I were talking yesterday. Actually, no, I was listening to his YouTube. He's the Growth Farmer. So please go check out his YouTube page, Growth Farming. I'm sorry, D. I wish I knew exactly your thing, but D. Grant Smith, Growth Farming. You can find him. But he did a video yesterday about the Native American proverb of the two wolves. And basically, if you haven't heard that proverb, you can Google it. But it basically states, the one you feed is going to be the wolf that wins, as in darkness and light. So I've really been thinking a lot about this. And I think this is an excellent quote. Don't water your weeds. Everybody has bad days. Everybody, goes through challenges and things like that. Absolutely embrace your human experience. But don't get stuck. Don't continue to water things that don't feel good. Don't continue to spend time and energy focusing on or putting energy into things that are not going to help you. And today our oracle message is also kind of synchronistic. It's the salamander bringing us the message of growth. And again, I think we've had this one before, so I think I'm going to switch up the oracle deck moving forward. Maybe next week I'll go ahead and start off with a new oracle deck. But today our message is one of hope and recovery after a difficult time. It speaks about regrowth. Sort of like a new beginning, which is excellent for today since we just had our Aquarius full moon last night. Regrowth after an upheaval, after maybe some trauma, after just a really challenging time, and understanding that you now have the potential to, on this other side of it, to regrow, to reform, to recreate yourself. And it's also asking us to remember that those times are learning experiences and we do grow from them, and growth is important. If you're not growing, you're staying stagnant. And if you're staying stagnant, are you really living? So that's your Good Morning Sunshine news for today. Thank you so much for being here. As always, we're going to close out with a few conscious breaths, just honing in really on the two most important, in my opinion, experiences of the human journey, and that is love and gratitude. So we're going to inhale love, exhale gratitude. And if you want to add a little oomph to this practice, you can go ahead and start thinking about a person, a place, a situation that makes you feel those things, love and gratitude, that you can connect, to your personal life, and think about those as we're doing this breathing. And also, just to add a little bit of intentionality, if you're able to close your eyes, go ahead and do that. We're going to take our first inhale of love. Ready? Inhale. Good. And exhale gratitude. Really push that exhale out, getting anything old and stagnant out. And inhale love. Slightly deeper than you'd normally breathe. And exhale with gratitude. Okay, last one, really make it count. Inhale love. And Exhale. Gratitude. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you have the best day, and I'll be back tomorrow morning for another episode of Good Morning Sunshine.